And boss plays Rico, PP Poo and Bomb Milk in for Argentina. This is their pretty much set DT roster here. I don't think they're really going to be finding a better DT4 than this for them. A couple of name changes on the Japanese roster, actually. YMD, for those who were not looking, is actually Ryoshi. So that is maintaining from last weekend, and then you have Requima Tishi, and instead of Autoline, we are running Haga today, so we've got that consistency, that DT demon speed on their side here. I don't know if they had Haga on the first playthrough. No, it looks like they did.
Yeah, it's already looking really good for Argentina on this. Japan having a little bit of accuracy troubles out of the beginning with Tichi at 95 and Rikuima at 96. But here we are getting into the aim patterns here. These are going to be very important. Everyone in the lobby gets through the first set, though. But we've got a very difficult set of stars coming up that we've seen a lot of breaks on. Let's see who gets through them. And it's, wow, no one in the lobby missing on them this time.
And both sets of them, too, actually. Looking comfortable there. The accuracies are a little bit telling for who's really comfortable with this right now. I mean, Cena 99.09 and 99.46 for boss plays. Those two players a little bit ahead of the crowd. Everyone else sitting closer to that 98 to 97% range. Cena dropping a couple hundreds on these consecutive single taps. And Rico actually finding a break on absolutely nothing there. Unfortunately, going to give a little bit of a break to Japan here, but it's not going to stop their combo gain with 2 FCs.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Argentina still, though. 450k score in the lead and rising. Boss plays is going to find a drop, so that's going to throw Japan a bone. Wait, Bone Milk dropping. I don't know if there's enough time.
It might be too late.
It's too late, but, like, that is going back so quickly.
Tichi has about 150,000 score right here. It's going to be close, but yeah, that's 220. The gap was too big. Yeah, that 95% on the FC hurts right there. I mean, it wouldn't have been enough to bring it over, but it does go to show how much that accuracy matters. I mean, 1.2 million max score on a DT map if you get perfect accuracy on there. So we are missing at least 100,000 score on Tichi off of a potential higher act play on that one. But that was Argentina's pick. And they made it look kind of easy, Miles. They were in the lead for basically that entire map.
Yeah, I mean, great stuff from Argentina on that first pick. I mean, one thing as a lower seed that you don't always see when you get into round of 16 is just a very high overall level of comfort on a pick, and Argentina absolutely had that on that pick. Lowest score from them was, I think, somewhere in the ballpark of 750k and multiple 800, 900ks on that squad. Very good stuff from Argentina. And now Japan picked back in their ballpark, and we could probably expect them to pick something, I think, in the no mod or hidden pool. That's really been Japan's bread and butter.
Yeah, we need to have Japan come off to a strong start here, right? These are the situations where we talk about it a lot in these early rounds, and when you only have 5 points, you really want to kick off well, because there's not a whole lot of room for error later on in the match, right? You can let up a break point and then try and take it back later, but we've seen in a lot of matches this weekend, if you somehow let more than one slip by, that's potentially 4 points if the other team is able to consolidate it on their own pick. So it gets interesting in those situations, and we are going into the aim. The No Mod 1, the Ayapanzu, the skill set that Japan has proven themselves to be exceptionally good at in many years.
This is not necessarily an aim map, though. I'd call this one more of a flow aim map. It's
consistency.
Yeah, consistency. Flow consistency. 4 minutes and 20 seconds, 181 BPM. Also has a little bit of an awkward alt section at around the 2/3 mark that lasts like 20 seconds that gets pretty spaced there as well. So map throws a lot of different things at you.
Well, hopefully that works in Japan's favor here. They are looking for that first pick, and again, it was not a... even though it was a definitive win for Argentina on that first pick on the DT2, 220k is far from unrecoverable on any particular pick with 1 or 2 misses. Like we kind of said, you know, with Japan having won the double time 2 mutually in the round of 32 against Argentina, if you were to compare their scores, it is the difference of 1 or 2 misses, and you saw Argentina was able to pull that score back in their favor today on the double time to start off, and the Nomad 1 could potentially go the same way, you never know, but with Japan having been favored on this by just a little bit larger of a margin, closer to 300 to 400k last weekend on a lot of these consistency-based picks in here, it is a little bit harder to make a case for Argentina getting into this, but they did still have a couple of decent plays on the consistency-based maps last week. No FCs on them, whereas Japan was actually able to put up 2 on Ryoshi and Tichi. It looks like they won't be playing this map, actually. It looks like we'll be getting Sabakan, Rikuima, and La Plus One, or Iger.
I really like this first pick for Japan, and I think if they win this one definitively enough, they're going to be really excited to go into the Nomad 3 after this, because both of them kind of play a lot like alt maps, except this one a lot more flow-oriented, and then the Nomad 3 a lot more awkward aim. But I think if you can win this one definitively enough, you have a good case into picking that Nomad 3 after this, especially with how that player in the top right of the screen plays, because oh my god, Iger is so good at this type of map.
the demon of old appears again for vengeance against Argentina right now in the round of 16. And again, this is a big match for Japan, right? You know, they are not normally, if ever, a team that we see falling out of the OS World Cup in the round of 16. So it would be exceptionally disappointing to see them succumb to Argentina in this early stage here. But then again, we also very rarely see Argentina make it well past the round of 16 here, so a moment of joy for them potentially if the match goes in their favor. So there's a lot of firsts hanging in the balance here.
Well, I think we all remember last year in this same exact matchup, we had Kazakhstan here instead, and Japan ended up getting forced a tiebreaker by them. So we'll see how this goes into the Ki section. Boss Play is going to find the first break for Argentina. That's going to give an early lead over to Japan. Everyone else gets through these flowing patterns all good. There's actually an early break by Vicio by like on the side of Argentina. But Tichi is going to find a break for Japan. And that's going to throw the combo lead back in favor of Argentina now going into the next bridge section.
I think we had a sneaky boss plays miss at about 400 combo in too, actually. So that's going to make things a little interesting being down that substantially. So that might actually keep things a little bit more even here with the slightly lower overall. And that's really going to help them. Boss plays now reset under TG. So not only do they have that one player advantage, but they have another maybe 60-70 combo on Vicio to make up for whatever accuracy deficit there is here. And there is an accuracy deficit. Smashka and Bomilk both above 99. Smash actually well into the 99s at 99.72. Only 98% ac across the board for Japan. And that works if you're going to go on the combo game, which they are able to make use of.
But we're reaching that really crucial part of the map, the middle section of the map. If you break here, your score is going to get capped really hard. And we've got a conveniently placed chorus section right here, and Vicio is going to find the drop, and Bomilk as well. And wait, that's a full combo reset for the side of Argentina, only traded by Sabakan for Japan. So Rikuima and Iger just going to hold on and pull this one forward for Japan with a lead that has already blossomed to 150k.
Those linear space streams are so difficult to be consistent on when they repeat on each other, and Sabakan being the only one to fall there is quite impressive for Japan. We've got Rikuima and La Plus One holding it down, and this score lead's going to get out of hand pretty quick, Miles. Like you said, after that halfway point, that score cap starts to take effect pretty majorly, and we are already looking at 300k within the next 25 seconds of the map, and that's even on this low-density 1/3 section right now. And Argentina may be falling out of this one here. Boss plays with another break on this section here. One from La Plus here, but Rikuima to hold it down for Japan, and we're a quarter of the way in now. Left to go in the map. Tichi, 1,000+ backing combo, and Sabakan matching Vicio right now. I think this is all said and done for Japan. I don't want to call it early, but they just have so much gap right now.
Yeah, and just that FC from Rikuima. It's still going, but he finally finds the break on the space stream. So now, big combo on Tichi to run Japan into the ending, but it's already a 550k, and there's not nearly enough combo on Argentina to try to contest that. So overall, I think it's going to be 2 very definitive first picks for both of these teams to get on the board 1-1.
Ichi with an amazing recovery from that early break here. This is fantastic, hitting the super difficult accelerating space stream sections, all of these really dense pattern changes in here, all the way through the 1/3 section with Rikuima, and that is just absolute class in the bottom right-hand corner here. Gonna put up almost 700k into the ending, just barely below with that note density, I think. Oh no, last space stream does throw it over, 700k plus for Tichi, and doesn't drop 100 on that last slider, advancing the lead to almost 700,000 score. And man, Japan on that consistency and that aim really looking strong for the remainder of this match.
And I think they definitely just found their case into picking Nomad 3 later in this match, so maybe expect to see that one later. But yeah, for now, pick back to Argentina. If they want to continue on that speed route, they have a free mod 3 open, so I think they'll maybe choose to do that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, you don't want to leave anything out early here in these best of 9s, right? You really want to get those strong picks out, and both teams doing very well for themselves to not let break points go on the first pick, which is actually something that we've seen quite frequently this weekend, is a break point go within the first 2 picks. So for Argentina and Japan both to secure their own slots here at the beginning really does help that confidence. It'll help them keep their picking strategy and maintain. What a lot of teams end up doing is they lose the break point, right? And then they start to deviate the picking strategy because they're nervous that whatever they were going to pick next might not be a perfect, scenario for them. So I really like the fact that Argentina is confident to go into something like free mod 3 with that burst speed based on how DT2 went. And likewise with Japan, like you said, we're really hoping that they're confident to go into that no mod 3, keep something more on that line, and maybe keep things continuing how they have been for the entirety of the match. It should be fun to note actually that with the other 2 matches that are ongoing right now, all matches ended up in 1-1 off of the first 2 picks.
Finally, good pick strategy. You can't really afford to mess up on early picks in these best of 9 scenarios, as you mentioned. But a lot of teams tend to go further out in their pick strategies when we get out into grand finals, best of 13. You're able to have a little bit of leeway to make some risky picks because the match is really long, 13 maps if you bring it to TB. That's enough leeway to make a risky pick, and if you lose it, you probably have enough time later in the match to try to bring it back. But here, 1 breakpoint down, and you could only have 3 picks total in a match, so can't really afford to hold on to your strong picks for later.
Yeah, get the strong picks out of the way, and then, or maybe if you really think you have enough of a lead on one of your later picks, you go deviate a little bit to see if you can find another avenue through this match in case something goes sideways. But again, that strategy is somewhat limited by the short nature of these early round matchups. Now we move into the quarterfinals next weekend. There's a little bit more strategy involved, given that we move up to best of 11. So we do get a little bit more room for teams in those slots. But really looking for a shift for Japan here based on that DT2. They're really hoping that this does not go the same way. They were down almost the entirety of that map. They almost came back at the ending of the DT2, but this free mod 3, despite how bursty it is at 230 BPM, is very aim heavy. It's very it's not a breakcore song by any means, but the map is very breakcore-esque. It's very quick switch between aim and bursts, which is very similar to the mapping style we see there. And that catches a lot of players off guard when they're just expecting speed bursts. So,
Argentina, second pick now. We've got Pipi Pupu, Kaushi, Boss Blaze, and Rico up against Rikuima's Sina, Tichi, and YMD. Argentina looked really good on their first speed pick, so probably expect them to have a pretty good advantage on this one, although the 2 maps are very different in style. This one is not AR 10.3. So that's going to make a big difference for, I think, a few of these players, especially the non-speed players on Japan who could be in for this map.
I wonder if the mods are going to make a bit of a difference here, too, actually. We did see a Hard Rock ban come out at the beginning, so we know that there is some sentiment of maybe not enjoying the Hard Rock modification here, but we also did see some of the hidden come through, so we are really looking for how those mods show up for both teams right now. This is kind of our first glimpse into maybe how those mod pools are going to look later on in this match here. With Seed on the hidden and Hard Rock on YMD here. We do have the Overmod on the side of Argentina, which is, I guess, not unsurprising to see Preference Mod hit in on something that's maybe a little bit more dense like this.
Yeah, absolutely no surprises seeing an Overmod of a single hidden. Yeah, into this section of the map, we are at about the 1/3 mark. Really can't afford to miss here on what's arguably one of the most comfortable maps in the pool, and it's going to be YMD going down, so the Hard Rock going down, and the Hidden going down as well with the Cena break. Boss Plays is going to trade one of those breaks out on the Hard Rock for Argentina, but it's still going to be about a 50k lead for Japan, as Rico's still recovering from an early break.
Boss Plays having a little bit of trouble here in this second section, actually dropping quite a few combos on these streams, not able to put up anything after that initial break, and that is going to give Japan quite a bit of favorability here, even with being down in the overall combo. Not having that support on that fourth player for this double FC, which is being matched, means that Rico... Oh my god, it's the slow slider for 3 players on Argentina! Oh my gosh, Argentina, what happened? That might have given the map away right there. Look how fast that score just went over. In 7 notes, Japan just gained 60,000 score, and Argentina, on the biggest sight read check I've ever seen, might just lose this map.
I cannot believe what I've just seen. Now Rikuima all alone on the FC into the ending, and it's going to be a breakpoint for Japan off of what, as you said, might be just one of the most tragic sight read checks I've ever seen. Oh my god, that is rough for Argentina.
That would have been such an interesting result if we didn't see that slider break, because Tichy did break the FC after all of the players on Argentina slider broke there, and no misses came out from Kaushi and Pipi Pupu, which means that Argentina may have actually won that map without those slider breaks with the break from Tichy. We would have to do the math to see if it actually would have stayed in favor of Japan, because they did have a bit of a lead off of the play from Boss Plays and Rico being a little bit lower, but man, that could have been such an interesting result without those slider breaks. But it was even more interesting with the slider breaks, I do have to say. That was very unexpected. I don't think we saw any matches yesterday where that many people got caught on that.
Yeah, but that's so tragic. Now they're down a break point. And, you know, one of the advantages of picking first in round of 16 is that no matter what happens, you're guaranteed to have at least 3 picks in the matchup to get on the board. But now, down a break point, Japan has a good opportunity to go up 3-1 here. I think they have a lot of good options left in the pool. As I mentioned earlier, that no mod 3, but they're going to go for the free mod 1. So that's more towards what you were saying, Chillier. The consistency, the aim, something Japan has always liked picking, and that is all that this free mod 1 is.
They love it. Japan is such a good country for aim maps and consistency. They always have been. This is kind of their bread and butter, especially back when they had players like Konkon and Varvalian on the team. Also 2 players who are very good at this sort of thing. And I think the roster just ended up like carrying over to that side where like, and you know, the players kind of dictate what you pick and what country's really good at, right? So when you combine a lot of that, and then you've got players like Iger on the roster, who is known for being one of the best aim players in tournaments a couple of years ago, and then, you know, you just drag it all the way through, it ends up pushing Japan as this like powerhouse for aim and consistency, which is something that they have maintained into this year, as we've seen through qualifiers in the round of 32. They're still very comfortable on this skill set despite losing a couple of players, and they are still very inclined to picking this sort of thing, which is understandable. Players like Sabakan and Iger in already very good at the aim skill set.
That Iger there, he has to definitely be taking no mod on this. He is so consistent at aim, and then probably assume Sabakan will take the Hard Rock. He is an extremely strong Hard Rock player. Meanwhile, for the side of Argentina, I'm not necessarily too sure what their mod is going to look like. Maybe we'll see PP Pupu taking no mod, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I mean, there is a chance we see the overmod on the hidden again, to be perfectly honest, especially on something a little bit more basic. You know, we get these like more simplistic free mod maps where it's just aim, consistency, bursts, that sort of thing, and it really lends to players just preferring to kind of take reading out of the equation when you put hidden on, and that will, I think, change the way that we see everyone go through and pick their mods out for this one. The Hard Rock is going to be marginally more difficult on this sort of thing than any other mod.
Yeah, the aim gets really spaced on this map with Hard Rock, but also on the hidden, this map is quite linear, and down at AR 9.3, could qualify as an awkward aim map on the hidden and no mod, depending on if your reading is more suited towards more comfortable maps at high approach rates. But here we go. It's going to be Smash K on the hidden, Amuro on the hard rock, up against YMD on the hard rock, and Rikuima on the hidden. So TG and Iger taking no mod. That is such a scary duo. Milk and Pee Poo Poo on the no mod as well.
I like this for mod combinations. No more over mod for Argentina. They've reeled it back into only required mods. I don't think the over mod did anything bad to Argentina on the previous pick, but it is easy to get scared off of over modding after you lose a free mod previously and kind of just reel things back in, so I understand why they are no longer going for anything over. We do see a couple of breaks at the beginning. This is a very awkward aim map, even if it's consistency-based. A lot of these, wide-angle square patterns, a lot of back and forths that overlap with each other. This is kind of a common theme across some of these free mod maps that we've seen in OWC thus far released through, and I guarantee we're going to see more of it in the future rounds. But Amuro and Smashka are already having some issues at the beginning here. On the mods, though.
Shouldn't be too big of a concern, though. This map is very long, but Amuro gonna find the drop right at the beginning of the chorus. It's gonna give that lead even further over to Japan. This map, 3 minutes and 33 seconds. It's not the worst thing to break early, but still, you don't want to do that. But Rikuima and La Plus are gonna find the drops, matched by only Smash K, so it's gonna be 2 FCs to 2 now going into the bridge section.
Exceptional stuff from the 2 FCs on Japan right now. The break on Iger, a little bit concerning for the remainder on this awkward aim, but YMD on that hard rock is really making this map look way easier than it is with that mod right now. But you have the no mod players holding on Argentina, which is that's exactly what you want, right? You want those no mod players to hold as YMD finds a break with that hard rock. And again, now you get into these sections where having that consistency on the no mod, which is significantly easier than a player who's playing on hard rock, to hold all the way through, because that's where you're going to get that extra score. And that is now a full unchecked FC for Argentina right now. These supporting combos on Japan can only do so much, and this score lead will go back ever so slowly. They are not fully in the clear with these combos from Japan right now, but Amuro and Smashe with these mods really are what are holding them back right now. Iger missed again.
Yeah, Iger's going to find a break, but there goes Milk. That's one of the FCs gone for Argentina now, and the combo lead is now back squarely in favor of Japan. Rikuima and Tichi still holding on. So it's going to be the top 2 players from each team holding on to those FCs still. It's going to be Pee Poo Poo and Tichi in a 1v1 on the no mod. See how long both of them hold.
This is the no mod 1 right now. The 1v1 with the combos at the ending here. Like, this is just first to break loses the map right now. There's 163,000 scored between the 2 teams right now, and if all combos hold even, this will end in a win for Japan. But if either of these players breaks, Miles, there's 200,000 potential score left for both of these players at the ending of the map right now. That's just over enough to drag this combo back. Rikuima to find a slider break, but Smashsai to trade it out. That's going to keep things continuing on this even train here. Amuro to find a break is going to give Japan a little bit more breathing room here. It's still maintaining at 160k, and I think that's it, Miles. We are far too gone, and Tichi has done it for Japan to hold them in.
Oh, he finds a slider right at the end.
The slider break.
Broke right before the slow slider at the end, but still very good stuff from Tichi. The FC for Argentina going to come out from Pee Pee Poo Poo, but not enough. Really some struggles on the mod players for Argentina on this one, and Milk finding a break at a really inopportune time. Going to be giving Japan that consolidated breakpoint now on their second pick. The pick going back to Argentina, though. They still have ways into this match, I think.
They do, but they're going to want to avoid that free mod, it seems. Japan far stronger on those modded players for these runs here. We did just have an overall better performance from the hidden on Perfect Neglect from versus the type of players that were playing mods on that, but Climax breaker here. I mean, 426k, 347k for the mod players compared to 600k and 530k on Japan. You know, that 600k on Hard Rock is huge, right? I mean, that score from YMD effectively doubled the other Hard Rock player from Argentina. So that's a pretty big margin of score right there on one player, let alone with the FCs that were very good from both sides here. We'll call them FCs. They were pretty much both right there to the ending. And we do see the Hard Rock come through for Argentina, and this is kind of... Now, I would say this is interesting because the Hard Rock players on Japan have been consistently outperforming the Hard Rock players from Argentina thus far, but that's only on one player, right? That's on Fremont. That is 1 out of 4. So you're only at 25% of your Hard Rock capacity on that map. And if Argentina has a better overall ability on a map like this, which we haven't really seen anything like Resolution yet.
Yeah, I don't think we should take Amuro's Hard Rock score on the last map as an indicator of Argentina's Hard Rock skill. And even for Amuro in particular, I know he's a very long time Hard Rock player, and I know aim not necessarily his thing. So maybe something like this could be a little bit better for him. Be joined by Rico, Boss Plays, and Bowmilk on this one. They already have that roster in the lobby. For Japan, not too sure who's going to play this. I'm extremely certain that Salbakan is going to play this because he's maybe one of the most specialized Hard Rock players on their team. But otherwise, I think Iger plays this, and then I'm not sure about the other two.
Yeah, this should be an interesting one. I'm excited to see what goes on in this map with something, again, that we haven't really seen yet thus far. This is, it's quite the special map for the round of 16. This is our first non-tiebreaker original that we have released for this tournament here by Future Witness. Very exciting. Everyone seems to like the song, which is always very good. Hoping the players are going to enjoy the song. I'm sure that's why they picked it. I'd say here you got to have fun in order to want to pick something, right? If you don't like having fun with it, then what's the point? Argentina, they've been known to pick Hard Rock in the past a little bit. I don't think that they are the team that I would pick out as like the definitive Hard Rock roster on anything. Japan actually in the round of 32 was more inclined at picking the Hard Rock, no, just as inclined, I guess. Hard Rock 1 and 2 both kind of going evenly picked there between the two teams. A little bit better on Japan overall from that, but the 460k score gap that Japan was able to put up on Argentina last week from the Hard Rock 2, which is a completely different map, by the way, was very largely in part due to Sabakan FCing the map, who is not playing this because, again, very different skill set. So we really don't have a lot of information to go off of here.
Yeah, I was mentioning, I think after the map pool showcase, that this is like the type of skill set that you don't always see in round of 16. Like, you have almost a light layer of precision at CS 5.5 with a lot of slider aim and aim control. You don't really see this early in a tournament, especially in a 2 Hard Rock format. You see an early drop come out from Rico and Amuro as well. That's going to be the early lead back to Japan once again.
This is a... honestly, I would say this is probably one of the most difficult maps in the pool, just with how challenging this is, you know, technically and mechanically, and how much focus you have to put in with that Hard Rock, too, also raising that OD. There's a lot to focus on in this map, and you can already see, actually, Japan just a little bit more comfortable on this as a full roster. YMD to find a break early, and Tichy to find a break on that kind of dense slider stack right there. No players getting caught out on Argentina, but they will trade out a break from Amuro and Tichy a little bit afterwards. That is advantage Japan maintained right now. 200,000 score in their favor. And Rico and Boss Plays got banchoed. Okay, I saw the red flash, but Rico was an actual break, so that is 2 full combos for Japan maintained, with only 2 300 combos on Argentina to go up against it. We're halfway through the map, 300,000 score gap between these two teams, and the 20th seed looking to do some damage here.
Yeah, this is a really bad place now for Argentina, because Japan, even on their supporting combos of YMD and Tichy, those two together neutralize one of the biggest combos on Argentina, and you would need 2 of those Argentinian combos to match up against one of the big combos on Japan. So Yeah, going into the last quarter of this map. Oh my god, Laplas dropping so much accuracy on that scream. He dropped like 550s there, but held onto his combo now into the ending slider section. He continues to drop accuracy, but that combo is still holding, and Bomilk and Amuro go down, and it's just looking better and better for Japan.
I think this one might be gone here. We're within the last quarter of the map, and that is 600,000 score for Japan right there. I mean, that is basically... 600,000 score is more than 2 players right now, basically, on Argentina from their lowest 2 right now. They would need an entire other player to make up the score difference right now, even if they could. Requima to find a break here, but it looks like it's going to be Iger into the ending almost here. The accuracy is not an object of focus right now for La+1. Get the combo king. Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's how you do it. I mean, if you're given the chance to have a high AC 1 miss versus that 93 FC, you're going with the 93% FC every time. And that is just how you do it. FC's coming out from La+, and slider break coming out from YMD. And that is a very definitive victory on Argentina's 3rd pick.
That is the most definitive victory we've seen in this match thus far. 865,000 score. That is just unrecoverable if you are Argentina. All the other maps have been relatively close. I mean, we've seen 170,000, we've seen 230,000 twice in a row. But Japan, on some of these maps, just has a way of pulling in these massive score gaps when they find a good performance. The last time we saw a score gap that big was actually on Japan's Nomad 1 pick with that, almost 700k from them there. So they certainly have a way of finding these maps that work exceptionally well for them. And I guess, it's something that you should probably expect from a team like Japan. They are 9 seeds higher. They are traditionally a team that makes it very far in the World Cup. They are a team that has won the OS World Cup before. So, Japan, there's a lot of legacy in this country, and they are certainly not going down without a fight. We talked about a fight being necessary here, and Japan round of 16 looks like it's going to remain strong with a 4-1 lead right now.
And it's a 4-1 lead with their own pick. That is 2 breakpoints, and they're going to go back to the Fremont pool for Scient Voyage. Another classic map. This one reused from OWC 2016, where it was Grand Finals hidden. I think a lot of people remember a certain Rust Belt score that I don't think has even been beaten this week, by the way. I don't think anyone on Hidden has beaten that Rust Belt score from 2016.
That's a tough score to beat. That was a really good score, honestly. I think that someone could maybe rock in like a really good HDHR FC potentially for the remainder of the weekend. Now we are running out of teams for that to happen with. We have yet to see I think a couple of teams play that could potentially put up some really good scores on a map like this. We have yet to see Canada versus Poland, which takes place in about 20 minutes from now, switching off after us, which has the potential to set some great scores on this map if they end up having it picked. Likewise, in the match between the United States and Turkey, I definitely think we have an opportunity to see some good scores from both sides there. And Chile, United Kingdom, I think all of our winners bracket matches, you have potential to see some really cool stuff on this map. I'm looking at our lowest bracket teams. I don't know if I pick out a team that has the HDHR player to rock out the 4.5 minute FC, but we might be surprised. Someone might do it right now. Let's see it. Throw a hidden hard rock down. Someone.
Give a quick update on a couple of the other matches going on right now. Thailand versus Singapore, currently 3-2 in favor of Thailand. And Taiwan, Malaysia, after a couple of breakpoints, now tied 3-3 in that matchup. So I forget which one of those is on the B stream, if you remember, Chillier.
The B stream is going to be Singapore versus Thailand right now.
So yeah, if you want to check out that match, that's going on the B stream right now. And now, back into Argentina, Japan. One player I'm looking at on this map, actually in particular, is Amuro. I feel like those last 2 Hard Rock maps really don't play to his strengths, but I know him. That guy's a hidden Hard Rock leaderboard player. He's one of us. This is his type of map.
Ooh, I like it. I like the play, Amuro. Show me something awesome here. I don't know.
El Clasico.
El Clasico. This is This is a battle of, man, I want Amuro to FC to put up the awesome performance, but this is also Japan picked Toho song, so they're awesome.
True, actually. Oh yeah, this is bringing in another player for Japan the first time this match, Stone Bream, a player who I think has a lot of eyes on him coming into the tournament as one of the, like, D-ranker newcomers for Japan. Very good at...
That's the way. That's the way. You just show up, you win OJT, and then you play OWC and rock it.
We're going to see a couple early breaks coming out of Rikuima on the hidden and Amuro on the hidden hard rock. Still it's going to be 3-3. Little bit of a lead in favor of Argentina now. 65,000, I think, off of some low accuracies on Japan. 95 coming out of Stone Bream.
We have sadly already lost our hidden Hard Rock FC within the first quarter of the map on Amuro, the only player to break on Argentina. It's a difficult mod combo. We're not going to hold it against them, but hopefully a big recovery from Amuro here to get this match a little bit in the favor of Argentina. They certainly need it right now. It's going to remain at least even. Rikuima with the break to trade it out on the hidden, and Amuro with a little bit of that mod multiplier going to help along with the accuracy from the players in Argentina. Argentina has been consistently higher in accuracy over the course of the entire match, and Stone Bream being at 95% with Hard Rock right now is certainly not helping Japan in that factor.
Oh, and Rikuima getting a couple of 50s and 100s on that stream, but managing to hold on to his combo. Yeah, it's going to be a safe 100k lead now for Argentina. They need to hold on to their combos. Kaoshi Boss Plays and PP all holding on to their full combos with Amuro just with that early break. So every break is going to matter, though, because there's so much combo staring them in the eyes on the side of Japan. But we haven't really hit the real difficult part of this map just yet. There's a stream section after this next Ki here, and I think that's where we're really going to see some breaks. But Kaoshi is going to find the drop right before next Ki section. That's really bad for Argentina because the Ki's aren't necessarily that hard on this map, or at least the first two aren't. But Tichi's going to go down.
The note lock went crazy. They're full shake. I think Tichi just over-tapped it and it locked them out. And that brings this right back to even, right? Japan was pulling score back, but they only got about 10k, but Amuro with the massive chain miss just threw back 20,000 score at the snap of your fingers. And it's a double FC remaining for Argentina right now, which is good because there is 2 FCs on Japan, and one of them with pretty rough accuracy, and Rikuima just lost the major supporting combo. If Japan loses either of these FCs, and likewise with Argentina, to find the break on the hidden, and it's just Boss Plays now, Japan to rip this score back.
But here comes the stream section. If there's a time to find a break, it's going to be now. Kaoshi gets slidered. And here come the streams. So many breaks coming out. Rikuima, but Boss Plays. The big combo is gone. And now it's Sabakan and Stone Bream for the side of Japan to take that lead instantly. An explosion of 100k score lead in their favor. And it's going up so quickly now. And Sabakan and Stone Bream are going to make it through the stream section. And that's looking like all she wrote for Argentina now in this match.
That might be it. PP with just completely missing that slider right there. There's no combo to speak of on the side of Argentina outside of Kaoshi, which is being matched by the low player on Japan right now. Sabakan, unchecked Nomad FC, Tichi 500 combo, Stone Bream with 96%. Okay, both FCs are now gone on Japan. Both FCs have just disappeared instantly. All right.
This is a difficult section. It's okay, yeah. This is the hardest Ki section of the map, the only one that actually has any streams in it. So it's fine for them to break there. They've already done their job. 400k lead squarely in favor of Japan. Tichi with 700, almost 800 combo going into the ending. And it's going to be Seed 20 Japan making it out of losers bracket round 1 into the quarterfinals weekend into losers round 2, defeating Argentina by the score lead of 5-1.
That is a far cleaner performance in the round of 16 losers bracket than we saw from Japan last year, Miles. I know we talked about that, and a 5-1 for them, I can imagine, feels pretty good right about now. Even facing a lower seeded team, Argentina has a very good roster. They've got a lot of experienced tournament players, but Japan just came out on top with the overall team performance today. They had a pretty even start, and then they just ran away with it after that. Well done to them. They will be advancing to face off against the loser of Chile versus the United Kingdom next weekend in the quarterfinals losers bracket. That is a serious matchup for them, for whoever ends up losing and falling down a little bit later today. But great stuff from Japan, and that is not all we have for them today, Miles. We've got, right after this, immediately after, in 15 minutes, Canada versus Poland. I think I'm excited for that one. What are your thoughts on that one coming up?
Canada versus Poland, that's almost a rivalry, I would say. After a couple years ago, Poland handed Canada a pretty rough L in a losers bracket finals, I think in top 6. So that one's going to be a spicy one, especially with a Poland team that's really revitalized with a lot of new players trying to show off their talent. So yeah, it's going to be a cool one. But until then, hope you all stick around. Go on over to the B stream, which I believe that match actually may have just ended in a victory for... Oh, no, it's not. It's 4-2 in favor of Thailand. Yeah. But we're going to actually switch over here because we've got another match that is almost maybe going to make it the tiebreaker. Taiwan versus Malaysia. 4-3 in favor of Taiwan right now. And we've got DT2 queued up, it looks like. I'm not sure if this was a recent pick.
This looks like it was the last pick. So we are still waiting on the pick.
Taiwan just almost 3-wayed this. It was Willie breaking on the last pattern, but top scoring for Taiwan with Neko Kamui and Ruyaya both FCing. So that's nearly a 4 million team score for Taiwan on this. 3.7 mil with Flyer getting a 537k. And I think we're going into Malaysia's last pick now.
This is going to be an interesting match in the end here, I think. This is a whole set of close matchups this weekend in the losers bracket here. These teams really fighting for these, and 25th versus 24th seed matchup living up to what I think we're kind of expecting here again. I think Taiwan was a team that made some pretty massive changes to their roster this year as well, actually. There was a lot of widespread concern, actually, on whether or not Taiwan would maintain their 100% qualifying position at one point. And, well, they're 1 point away from potentially winning this match and advancing on to the quarterfinals weekend and silencing the haters. So...
Yeah, Malaysia taking their time on their last pick here. These two teams tied at the hip, seed 25 and seed 24. These two South Asian teams, very geographically close to each other, so gonna be really cool to see how these last two potentially picks go, because if Malaysia wins this last pick, they're gonna be forcing that tiebreaker. And it looks like we're seeing a roll in the chat. Oh god. That is gutsy to play when you're being staring down the barrel of Taiwan on match point right now, rolling for your pick.
Yeah, this is a dangerous spot for... I mean, you know, Taiwan, as low as they've seeded this year, this is a legacy team in the OSU World Cup, right? I mean, winners of the first OSU World Cup ever. I believe they also placed third and second in either the second and third World Cups or the third and then the fourth, something like that. But Taiwan is a team that you don't want to mess with, and rolling on a pick against Taiwan when you are down match point is a that's a big cojones move right there. Oh, it's a DT3.
Ooh, DT3. This, I don't know how I feel about this. This is such a scary pick. It's so long. There's so much aim control in this map. Yes, it's a DT map, which has seemed to be Taiwan's bread and butter so far this tournament. But this one, not really a tapping map. There's a little bit of finger control in this one, but I think the main point of difficulty is going to be the aim control, which is what Malaysia is probably trying to pick into.
I can see it. Now, unfortunately, I haven't been seeing what's going on with the rest of the match, so I don't know how the picking strategy has gone for these two teams in terms of who's found favorability where, but What I do know is that we did see a DT pick immediately prior to this one in Chain Destruction, and I do know that Taiwan, like you said, ended up putting through 3 FCs, 2 with lower accuracy, but 1 with pretty high accuracy. Now my question is, have we seen DT1 or Fremod 3? We have. We have seen Perfect Neglect, which actually ended up in a win for Malaysia. So there is no speed advantage for either team here, apparently.
One pick that I kind of want to look at coming in here, I mean, okay, so the other aim control that has been picked in the match, you kind of have a case for Hidden 2 being a bit of aim control, and that one was a solo carry from Wuhua. But that's a Wuhua solo carry on a Hidden Tech map, and this is a completely different ballpark from that. And then you look at the Nomad 3, which is probably what I would say to maybe be the closest to this. Like, maybe, like, the maps aren't really too close, though, but it was a victory for Taiwan. So these teams are split on all difficulty aspects of this map. So going into completely uncharted territory here.
Ooh, dangerous stuff then. Malaysia starting off just a tiny bit of an advantage here. Neko Kamui having quite a bit of trouble at the beginning here. 94% accuracy and a miss, but that is not to say that there is not also super low accuracies on a few players from Malaysia who are still holding the combos right now. And there goes a triple break, 2 of them on the side of Malaysia. Ruyaya, the only break on the side of Taiwan that's going to put them slightly favored now. There goes Flyer on that single tap switch over from the burst, though you really have to get that one down. That's a tough pattern there. And we are left with 2 low AC FCs for Malaysia now, quarter of the way in.
But this map is really long, 4 minutes and 16 seconds after DT. We're still in the first quarter of the map, and it feels like so much has already been played so far. And this map doesn't really feel like it has a specific pattern that's really hard to it. It's just really consistently difficult, so you can find a break at any point of this one. It's gonna be a... Oh, but Willie breaking!
Wait, that's huge. This is like a refrain section right now. You do not want to be finding breaks here. And even with these accuracies having been low before, they are raising right now. The supporting combos on Malaysia are now up. Wuha and Nohead all in 500 plus combo across the board for them. The combos are gaining on Taiwan, though. Neko Kamui, the first one to break 800 plus combo now, and Flyer and Ruyaya not too far behind. But there goes Neko Kamui, and this is all falling apart for Taiwan. At every possible turn, they could gain a lead. They find a drop again. There goes Willie and Miles. Are we going to see it?
I think we might already at this point. You could almost call it. Malaysia's just in such an advantageous position. But wait a minute! That is a 3-way reset on what?
Oh my gosh.
This map, there's not one pattern that you expect to see a break on, but that is a 3-way miss from Malaysia during the PI section, and now it's Wuhua all alone, 800 combo, and Taiwan, they're poised to be able to take this one back. This is DT, the multiplier's high, 110k can disappear in an instant, and Flyer and Ruyaya are in such a good spot right now. Taiwan is poised to just steal this right from where Malaysia they thought they had it.
It's a third of the way left in the map right now. It's 70,000 score. That's not nearly enough to keep it. There is another bit of a low intensity section right now, but we've seen players break on sections like this in this map thus far. This is very technically difficult in here with the finger control. All that we can do right now for Malaysia and this tiebreaker is hope that we see one break from Taiwan. It's a break from Nohead. That's not what Malaysia needs right now. They are certainly not out of it yet. They've still got someone battling right now, but they need to see breaks from a few players on Taiwan. And I think we are coming to the close of the map. 100,000 score. That break needs to be sooner rather than later, Miles. And that triple miss from Malaysia may have put them out of the running on this map. There's not much for Flyer and Ruyaya to break on, and there goes Wuha. And tiebreaker dreams have been crushed for Malaysia, I think.
I cannot believe what we just witnessed, Chillier. It felt like Malaysia had that. They were in such a good position. Everyone had combo, but that 3-way reset just completely destroying their chances of winning. And even though the combo resets do come out from Taiwan, they're all matched from players on Malaysia. So it's only Willie now with the 1K combo into the ending. And who else would it be? Willie the bona fide carry of Taiwan in a year where there was so much uncertainty for Taiwan. Willie has been a player who came in and has looked like the rock for them. Their highest performing player, locking out that biggest combo in the end, and it's going to be Taiwan winning an excruciatingly close match at the score of 5-3, and that is a GG well played. Taiwan, a seed upset by 1 seed.
A seed upset indeed. Ryuya, huge 700k performance into the ending there to give them the win on that map, and Taiwan overall as a team performance just rocking through there. They are advancing to face off against the loser of the United States and Turkey, which will take place a little bit later today. But we've only got 4 minutes left for you all, and 4 minutes is just enough time before Canada versus Poland to go grab yourselves a banner to support your favorite teams in the tournament right now. You can get them off of the website. You can get multiple of them if you wish to support many teams. And if you end up grabbing the banner of the winning team of the tournament, you'll get to keep it beyond Grand Finals weekend. But we've got only a short amount of time before the next match starts here on the A-Stream, so we're going to cut it off as fast as possible here. Thank you for joining me, Miles. We're going to be just taking a very short break before the next match. Canada versus Poland coming up next. You don't want to miss it.